Hi, join me again for chapter 38 now of There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. In the last two chapters, we met poor Carla, who was being hauled over the coals, if you like, by the Teachers' Association and the parents who wanted to know exactly what she was doing with their children. And let's see on chapter 38 whether we get any nearer to what happens to poor Carla. Bradley Chalker's homework. Book report. My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lassou. Mrs. Ebble's class, room 12, Red Hill School, last seat, last row, next to Jeff. My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant was a very funny book, a crazy book by Uriah Lassou, a funny author to write such a book. It's a story told by a kid. The parents are in jail because they stole an elephant, except they're innocent. Hey, I just realised something. You know what? You never really know the child's name. You know what else? You don't know if the kid's a boy or a girl. I just realised that right now as I'm writing the book report because I didn't know whether to write he or she. I told you it was crazy. The kid lives with his aunt and uncle. They're crazy too. They put wallpaper up in the garage. Ace is crazy too. He's a lawyer for the kid's parents. He makes the kid practice crying for an hour every day so the kid will be able to cry on demand in court. Only when the kid finally gets to court, he doesn't cry. He laughs. Then everyone else laughs too. Then the kids' parents go home because they're innocent. Except, do you know what? I'm not sure. I mean, if they were really innocent, who ate all the peanuts? I told you it was crazy. The end. The end. Absolutely wonderful, said Carla. Is it good? Asked Bradley. You captured the very essence of the book. He smiled even though he didn't know what captured an essence meant. They were sitting around the round table. Bradley had his turn at his book report with Miss Ebbott. But he wanted Carla to see it first, just in case he ripped it up. Carla was wearing a fluffy pink sweater. She wondered what happened to the peanuts too. Me too, and they could have hid the elephant in the garage. That's why they put wallpaper in there to cover up fingerprints. Do elephants have fingerprints? Asked Carla. Maybe they have trunk prints. And he laughed. Well, I have to go to Mrs. Ebble's class. Here's your book back. Thank you. I didn't write in it or spill food. I'd like you to keep it, said Carla. It's my present to you. But I thought it was one of your favourite books. It is, that's why I want you to have it. If I didn't like it, it wouldn't be much of a present then, would it? I wish I had a present to give you, he said. You've already given me one. I did? What was it? The book report. The smile left his face. What's the matter? Well, I'm supposed to give it to Mrs. Ebble, but that's okay, you can have it. It wouldn't be much of a present if I didn't want it to. Carla laughed and shook her head. That's sweet, that isn't what I meant, Bradley. I meant, it just makes me happy that you did such a wonderful job. That's the present you gave me. Really? Really, it was the best present I could have got. He thought that was great. He was able to give Carla the present and hand in the homework to Mrs. Ebble. What's wrong? Carla wiped her eyes and the corners of her mouth trembled. Are you crying? He asked. Bradley, I've got something I have to tell you. I hope you can listen to what I have to say without feeling scared or upset. Tomorrow will be my last day here at Red Hill School. What? That's why I'm so glad you've written such a wonderful book report. It shows that you can continue without me. I'm very proud of you. You're leaving? She nodded. I've been transferred. I will teach in kindergarten at Willow Bend School, but I want to thank you, Bradley. You've made my short time here very special, and I'm really glad we got to know each other. You're leaving? We still see each other, she said. Saturday No, you can't. It's not fair. I have to. He couldn't believe it. What if I don't do my homework? Then you'll have to stay and make me want to do it again. She smiled warmly at him. Her blue eyes glistened. You're on your own, Bradley. I know you'll do wonderfully. No, it's not fair. He stood up. You tricked me. Carla stood up too. She walked around the table towards him. I hate you, he shouted in her face. I know you don't mean that. Yes, I do, and I hate your stupid book too. He picked up My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lassou and he threw it at her. Then he picked up the book report and, Bradley, please. He ripped it in half. He stretched his mouth so wide it was hard to tell whether it was a smile or a frown. He tore his book report again and dropped it. The pieces on the floor. I hate you! And he ran out of the office. He ran into the boys' bathroom. He leaned over the sink and he cried and his face throbbed as he watched the tears go down the drain. There was a knock on the bathroom door. Bradley, said Carla. Are you okay? Go away, I hate you! The door slowly opened and she stepped inside. You're not allowed in here, he said. I think it's important that we talk, said Carla. That's how friends handle their problems, by talking about them. That's why we've become such good friends, because we've learned to talk to each other. I'm not your friend. Why would I want to be friends with you? I hate you. I like you, Bradley. I can like you, can't I? You don't have to like me. I'm not going to Colleen's birthday party, and I don't like Jeff either, and I'm never going to do any homework, and I'm going to fail all my tests. Do you want to know what I think? I think you're worried now that now I'm leaving, everything will turn bad again. Coleen won't want you to come to her party, and you'll get bad grades no matter how much you try. This is the boys' bathroom. But it wasn't me who magically changed your life. It was you. You're not Cinderella, and I'm not Prince Charming. You're not allowed in here, he said coldly. Saturday, I'm going to need someone to help me move all the things out of my office, he said, and I would appreciate it very much if you'd come and help me. Then afterward, we could have lunch together. We can go to a restaurant together, just the two of us. He wanted to go to her, to hug her in her soft-picked jumper. He felt like his insides were being ripped out. It'd be lots of fun and it would be a great help. I have to use the toilet. Maybe I'll see you on Saturday, said Carla. I would like that very much. And she turned and walked out of the door. Bradley stayed in the bathroom until the bell rang. Then he went home, sick. Chapter 39. Ronnie hopped along, singing, do-do-do-do-do. All the other animals were gathered together. What are you doing? Asked Ronnie. We're talking, said the lion. And you can't listen, said the kangaroo. Oh, okay, said Ronnie. And she waited for the other animals to stop. We finished talking, Lion told the Ronnie. We took a vote. We don't like you anymore. Ronnie hopped away. Suddenly she fell into quicksand. Help! She cried. Bartholomew, save me! No, I won't, said Bartholomew. And I'm not going to marry you either. Ronnie sank into the quicksand and died. Chapter 40. Bradley's mother took his temperature and told him he was normal. I am not, he argued. He's normal, said Claudia. Bizarre. Bradley felt as though his stomach was tied into a knot. Every time he thought about Carla, he felt the knot pulled tighter. I hate her, I hate her, I hate her. He said the words slowly. When he said he hated her, the knot in his stomach loosened a little bit. He sat down at his desk at the back of Mrs. Ebble's class, the last seat, the last row. Hi, Bradley, said Jeff, sitting down next to him. Where were you yesterday? Were you sick? He didn't answer. Jeff wasn't his friend. He didn't have any friends. Bradley, called Mrs. Ebble, will you come here, please? He dragged his feet to a desk. I was sick yesterday, he told her. Call my mother if you don't believe me. Mrs. Ebble waved that away. I just wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed your book report, she said. It made me want to read the book. Huh? Miss Davies gave it to me yesterday. She explained how she accidentally ripped it. He stared at her amazed, then noticed that his book report taped together, lying on Mrs. Ebble's desk. It was in the very top in red ink, the words that said, Excellent. He picked up his book report and ran back to his desk. There it was next to his name, Bradley Chalker, a gold star. He sat down and stared at it. It seemed to shine brighter than all the other stars. The knot in his stomach jerked tight and he had to look away. The star reminded him of Carla. She's such a liar, he thought. She said she accidentally tore it up when I was the one who did it. I hate her. And he shoved the book report in the back of his desk and the knot loosened. They walked all recess. The other boys called him from the basketball court, but he pretended not to hear them. He just kept on walking. OK, I'll go and see her at lunch. I'll just say goodbye to her, that's all. Everyone was looking for you to play basketball, said Jeff. I told him you were still sick from yesterday. I'm not sick, said Bradley. I'm normal. When the bell rang for lunch, he walked to Mrs. Ebble's desk to ask for the hall pass. Yes, Bradley? He couldn't talk. The nut in his stomach was so tight it choked all his vocal cords. He stuck his hands in his pocket and he walked outside. He sat in a far corner of the playground. Twice he thought of Carla. The first time it was in 3rd grade. The second time it was a tree. His stomach was too knotted up to eat anything. I saw Carla, Jeff told him after lunch. I went to her office to say goodbye. She said she'd like to see you. She said she wanted to see you in her office after school, just in case you wanted to talk to her. She asked me to tell you that, Bradley. Bradley closed his eyes until the knot loosened. Don't you want to go and say goodbye to her? Jeff said. He shook his head. He could picture her waiting in her office for him. He'd walk in and she'd say, Hello, Bradley, it's so nice to see you. I appreciate your coming to see me. He might even give her a kiss. When the bell rang, he walked directly home, the knot inside tightening with every step. I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. Chapter 41. Let's go, Bradley, said his mother on Saturday as she entered his room. We're off to a real barber shop. She said as if the barber shop was the most exciting place in the world. In the past, she'd always cut Bradley's hair herself, but this time he'd asked to go to a real barber shop. That was earlier in the week when he'd got Colleen's party invitation. You make my head look like a chili bowl, he'd complained. Now he sadly looked up at his mother. I don't want to get my hair cut. You don't look nice for Colleen's birthday party? I'm not going to her party, he snapped. I hate her. Bradley's mother left him alone. He heard Carla's voice in his mind. Saturday, I'm going to need someone to help me move all of my things. I would appreciate it very much if you'd come and help me. The knot in his stomach tightened. I hate you, he said out loud. His father knocked, then came into his room. "Bradley, I think we need to talk, man to man." Bradley stood up. "Why don't you tell me what's bothering you? Maybe I can help." Bradley didn't want any help. "I was sorry to hear that your counsellor had left the school. I know you liked her. At first I didn't much like the idea of you seeing a counsellor, but I had to get my hair cut," said Bradley. "Mum said so." And he walked out of the room, leaving his father behind. His mother drove him to the barber shop. Carla's voice was in her mind. "We could have lunch together. We could go to a restaurant." The knot pulled tighter. "Just the two of us." And tighter. "It'll be lots of fun," Carla said. "It'd be a great help." And tighter. "Maybe I'll see you Saturday. I'd like that very much. You're not Cinderella and I'm not Prince Charming." "I like you, Bradley. You don't have to like me back." The knot pulled tighter. "Stop the car! I've got to go back." The car swerved. "Don't ever do that again," said his mother. "We could have had an accident." "I don't believe in accidents." "I'm getting sick and tired of your nonsense, Bradley. What is your problem?" "I can't get my hair cut now. I've got to go to school." "On a Saturday? I'm supposed to see my counsellor. She's waiting to see me. Call the school if you don't believe me." The car stopped. "We're here," said his mother sternly. "We're getting your hair cut now." He stepped out of the car and reluctantly followed her. It smelled oily and stale, bubblegum mixed together. All around him mirrors and reflected mirrors, ugliness, multiplying it 100 times back and forth. It seemed to reflect the smell too. He couldn't believe he'd asked his mother to take him to such a place. It was like some kind of horrible torture where children went to be tortured. But worst of all, he had to wait his turn to be tortured. All the barber's chairs were occupied. He sat on a torn red couch. "Do you want to read a comic book?" asked his mother. "No, thank you," he answered quietly. Finally, it was his turn and he climbed into a slippery chair. The barber tied a shiny apron round his neck, nearly choking him to death. The barber began by combing his hair. Bradley wondered why I had to comb it if he was going to cut it anyway. At last, the barber picked up the scissors and began to cut. But he never cut off a big chunk at once. He just kept snipping over and over. And the whole time, Bradley had to stare at himself in the filmy mirror, and he gritted his teeth and waited for it to be over. The barber put down his scissors, but then he picked up a comb and started combing again. "I knew I shouldn't have combed it before," Bradley thought. "And now he's got to do it all over again." The barber sprayed some kind of smelly junk on his head, combed his hair one last time, then unhooked the apron around his neck. Bradley quickly hopped off the chair before the barber could change his mind. But the barber wasn't through. He made Bradley stand still while he ran a vacuum cleaner across the back of his neck. And when he's finished, he offered Bradley some bubble gum. "I hate gum." Bradley never used to take gum, but after smelling it in the barber shops, he never wanted gum anymore. "You'll be the most handsome boy at Colleen's birthday party," his mother said as they walked outside. "Can you drive me to school, please?" he said. 10 minutes later, he jumped out of the car, ran up the double glass doors. They were locked. He pressed his face against the glass and looked inside. Mrs. Kemp, the janitor, was waxing the floors. He pounded on the door until she looked up. "What do you want, Chalkers? I have to see Miss Dave." "Miss Davis is gone." He ducked under her arm, which held open the door, and ran into the building. "Chalkers, I'll call the police." He opened the door to Carla's office and he stepped inside. Except for the round table, the room was empty. But in his mind, he heard Carla say, "Hello, Bradley. It is a pleasure to see you today. I appreciate you coming to see me." He noticed an envelope lying there, and it had his name on, Bradley Chalkers. Under its smaller letters was the following: "Mrs. Ebble's class, room 12. Good friend, honest, thoughtful, caring, polite, whom I will never forget, and who I hope someday will forgive me. Last seat, last row." "There you are," said Mrs. Kemp as she came after him. "If you don't get out of here right now, I'm calling the police." "Look," he exclaimed, holding up an envelope. "She left for me. See, Carla, we're friends. You're best friends. You've got 10 seconds to leave this building. 1, 2. He took the envelope and left. He opened it inside of the playground, next to the monkey bars. Inside was the book, My Parents Didn't Steal the Elephants, by Uriah C. Lasso, and a letter. "Dear Bradley, this book was a present from me to you. It was a gift from the heart, the kind of gift, better or worse, that can never be returned. I'm sorry for hurting you. I didn't mean to make you feel any better. You hurt me too when you didn't come and see me Friday and Saturday. I kept hoping I'd see your happy face walking through the door. I hope you don't mind that I gave you a book report to Mrs. Ebble. It was too good to throw away. You could do such wonderful work if you can only learn how not to rip it up. I hope you went to Colleen's birthday party. If you did, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you didn't go, that's all right too. There'll be lots of other parties for you to go to. You're a very likeable person and you'll always be very special to me. It was a pleasure to see you and I appreciate you coming. Thank you for sharing so much. I love you, Carla." Bradley's father was leaning on his cane on the front step when Bradley came walking home. "I want to talk to you, Bradley," he said sternly. Bradley ran up to him and hugged him and nearly knocked him over.